Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Old Londinium. I recently spent some time walking through historic central London and thought I would show you some of my favourite spots along the way. On this first trip we will explore the 2000-year history of Fleet Street, from Charing Cross in the ancient city of Westminster to St Paul's Cathedral in the ancient city of London. When the Romans settled on the banks of the River Thames in the year 47 AD, they created the walled city of Londinium, now the City of London. Not to be outdone, when the Anglo-Saxons arrived in the 5th century AD, they set up base outside the Roman walls in what is now known as the City of Westminster. We start our walk at Charing Cross Station on the Strand and walk east towards Bank Station in the City of London. To kick things off, I slowly sneak up an unsuspecting London phone box before checking out the Charing Cross Monument. Built as a tribute to Queen Eleanor of Castile by King Edward I after her death in 1290, it is historically the point in which all distances to and from London were measured. Moving further east, we come to the fantastic looking Royal Courts of Justice building. Built in 1882, it is said to be haunted. Of the 1,000 plus rooms, only room 666 has the original painted room numbers. Professional stone cleaners have been able to remove the paint despite numerous attempts over the years. Directly opposite is the Temple Church, former headquarters of the Knights Templar in England. The church was created by the fellow soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, more commonly known as the Knights Templar. The church was also at the centre point for negotiation between King John and the rebel barons in 1215 AD, which resulted in Magna Carta, arguably one of the most important documents for the rule of law anywhere in the world. Someone instrumental in these negotiations was William Marshall, who is buried here. He was advisor to King John and got him out of many scrapes over the years in the lead up to the issue of the Magna Carta. Considered one of the greatest knights of all time, he was leading and winning battles into his 70s and finally took the oath of allegiance to the Knights Templar on his deathbed. Probably because he didn't fancy the vows of poverty, chastity and obedience. The surrounding area has deep roots in the legal profession with enough history for a video of its own. The area includes the Inner Temple and the Middle Temple, two of the four Inns of Court. It's actually a beautiful and peaceful environment, far removed from the hustle and bustle of Fleet Street, only just a few feet away. The dragon statue marks the entrance to the City of London and the departure of the City of Westminster. Originally this was an archway called the Temple Bar, which was moved brick by brick to St Paul's Cathedral during the reign of Queen Victoria. Because of Fleet Street's location as the main thoroughfare between the City of London and the Royal Palace of Westminster, the area was always teeming with clergy, lawyers and politicians. Because of this, the very first Caxton printing press was set up here in the 16th century by the appropriately named Wynkyn de Worde, and thus began the street's famous relationship with the newsprint industry. In the 19th century, newspapers like the Daily Times, Daily Mail and Daily Express moved in, and it was said that you could feel the ground vibrate when the giant printing presses were in operation. Fleet Street follows the course of the Fleet River, which now forms part of the sewer system. Every building and every alley has an interesting history on Fleet Street, such as the former home of Dr. Samuel Johnson, the writer who decided that the world needed a compiled list of words and thus created the world's first dictionary. Dr. Johnson would have no doubt frequented the old Cheshire Cheese pub. The current building dates back to the Great Fire of London and was once frequented by the likes of Charles Dickens, who lived in a nearby lodging house. In its current form, the pub isn't particularly great. The food is average at best, the beer is unnecessarily expensive and the staff unpleasant. Other notable things to look out for on this route is St Dunstan in the West Church and the statues of Gog and Magog, giants that were meant to have inhabited the land of Albion, now Britain. The Church of St Bride's and the surrounding area was designed in accordance with plans drawn up by Sir Christopher Wren after the Great Fire of London. It was also once home to Samuel Pepys, who was baptised here. It is said that at some point during the 1700s, a nearby baker wanted to make an impressive wedding cake for his fiancée. He was inspired by the steeple and created the first tiered wedding cake. Prior to that, weddings would have been celebrated with a pie. Just off of Fleet Street is the Old Bailey, or the Central Criminal Court to give it its proper name. Further east on Fleet Street we come to St Paul's Cathedral and next to it the Temple Bar. Remember I mentioned this earlier in the video, it was the ancient entryway to the City of London. During the 1800s, as more people lived and worked in the area, it became an infamous bottleneck for horse-drawn traders and merchants, so it was removed in favour of the dragon statue. Paul's Cathedral is possibly my favourite building in the whole of London. This iteration of the cathedral was built by Sir Christopher Wren after the previous church was partially destroyed during the Great Fire of London in 1666. I may do a full video on this at a later date as I wasn't able to film inside on this occasion. During the Reformation under Henry VIII, ornamentation and relics were removed from the cathedral, including, apparently, the hair of Mary Magdalene and the milk of the Virgin Mary. Moving east again into the old city of London, we come to the Church of St Mary of Bow Bells. It is said that if you are born within the sound of these bells, that you can officially call yourself a Cockney. Whilst we are in the ancient city of Londinium, Watling Street has a claim to be the oldest street in London, dating back almost 2,000 years. It literally reeks of history.